Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Flagship station for MTSU Sports.
Partly cloudy to mostly clear for tonight. Lows drop to 68 degrees, and winds will be fairly light. And then Monday, sunny and highs top out near 93. I'm meteorologist Phil Jensko on News Radio WGNS. Right now it's 83.
I'm Richard McCann, your home improvement guru. Let's talk cars for a second. Do you know which car is the most stolen in the United States? It's a car that's unlocked. Number 2 is Kia and Hyundai. Now, why do I know this? Because a couple of weeks ago, I walked out to my car and someone had broken into my Kia. My Kia Soul, they just ripped the whole steering column out of it. I couldn't figure out why until my tow truck driver got there and said, there's this TikTok challenge about breaking into Kias. Good luck. Got it fixed, brought it home, and 2 days later, they did it again. If you have a Kia or a Hyundai, I strongly advise getting one of those clubs that pushes down on the brake and so you can't move the steering wheel, and talk to your insurance company. Make sure they're still going to cover your car. I'm Richard McCann. I want you to check out my website, originalhomeguru.com, because I am your home improvement guru.
There is no safer place in the storm. Talk Radio WGNS, Murfreesboro, FM 100.5, 101.9, AM 1450, TV 11.
This is the
News Radio WGNS, Murfreesboro. The views and opinions on this show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of WGNS, its management, other hosts, or advertisers.
Hello, and we are on the air. Edwin Lee Raymer with you here with another edition of the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Ed Raymer, it should be. I'm sorry. Glad to be here with you. Trust everyone's had a good week, ready to kick off the next week. And I have a great guest, and you all know her. Have come to know her over the years that I have known her, and it's nobody other. I notified a lot of you on Facebook. It's no other than Miss Carolyn Cox. Carolyn, how are you?
I am good, Ed. How are you?
Can't complain. And Carolyn had the privilege, she's been busy the last, week, 10 days? You've been?
About 10 days, yeah.
10 days, yeah. And I had the privilege of hearing the Vice President of the United States speak, which is a big deal to me in itself. And we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about what, Carolyn, you made a career change a couple months ago.
Actually, it's been almost 8 months ago.
Good,
Time flies.
Man, I'm telling you right now. We're going to talk to her about that too, and I'm sure her grandbaby, who's now 4?
She just turned 3.
Just turned 3, going on 30.
Going at least.
And every time I call, if I catch her on a weekend, I know more than likely she's going to have that grandbaby, and that's okay. And she must be something else. I need to see that child. I want to meet her so I can spoil her a little bit myself, because that's what it's all. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, that's her. Yeah, okay. Jackson's on the board. He's going to do a good job as usual. We're here with Carolyn. Carolyn, thank you for agreeing to do this as always.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. But for right now, my name is Edwin Lee Raymer, and yes, for now, I'm still a private investigator. Welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your Good Neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS Murfreesboro.
And that is a little stiff upper lip for you from AC/DC. And this is Edwin Lee Raymer Show. I'm your host, Ed Raymer. This show is produced here at the studios of WGNS, AM 1450, 100.5, and 101.9 FM right here in the heart of the great volunteer state, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. You can reach us tonight, me and Carolyn, with your questions, comments, or thoughts at 615-893-1450. That's 615-893-1450. You can also send us a text to that number. And Jackson will be glad to read it over the air for you, or he'll give it to me or Carolyn. We'll read it over the air For those of you who do not wish to be heard on the air live, we understand some people might be a little too high or too shy to get on here. Now, you can watch us or hear us. My wife, of course, you can always hear us on the radio, 104.5, 1450, 100.5, or 101.9 here on your radio. Now, also, you can catch us on your phone. You can download the WGNS app and take WGNS with you wherever you go. Angela Bingham left earlier, talked with her, and love her to death. Take a listen to her show, Simplicity. She's been on the air about 5 years, doing a great job there. Bill's going to be on later, and Bill's got a great show coming up. I'll mention that a little bit later. And you can catch us at WGNSradio.com. All of my shows are there on podcast. And the best way to catch us, my wife listens occasionally on Alexa. You can catch us on Stitcher. There's a number of different ways. Google it. You can find it. Or you can just put in your computer or your device or whatever, Edwin Lee Raymer Show, and it'll come up on YouTube. And we are on YouTube Live right now, okay? So you can watch us that way. So we never dreamed we'd be in the TV business. But anyway, we are. Now, I want to tell you about someone that's a new sponsor that they agreed to come on board with us, and I'm very grateful for them. I appreciate them. It's Keep It Running Heating and Air. Now, if your family's looking for a locally owned heating and cooling company, I want to introduce you to Joe at Keep It Running Heating and Cooling. Now, Joe's got over 12 years experience in this field. He and his company, Keep It Running, are located right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They're fully licensed and insured and available for you 24/7 to help you with your heating and cooling needs. And goodness knows this week, I've got a couple of friends in the AC business, and they have been busy. I had a good friend said posted on Facebook he's about had it this week with his this week of attics and air conditioners, and that can be a dangerous thing. So if you're looking for a company you can trust, call Joe today at 615-962-2397. That's 962-2397. Visit their website at www.keepitrunningheatingandcooling.com. And, of course, you can catch them on Facebook as well. And I appreciate them so much. I know these people, and they are going to do very, very well. And Miss Carolyn Cox is here. Carolyn, what in the world's been going on? We hadn't had a chance to catch up. We still never have sat down and had that cup of coffee we keep talking about.
I know it will eventually happen, but it's been...
I don't know.
Look, just having good conversation with you before the show is always a good thing. So, but we'll add that coffee real soon.
You're gonna spring for the check, right?
I got you.
Good. I'm an old broke Democrat.
That's okay.
I'll give all my money to.
We're gonna go get
other
us some
things.
gas. We're gonna get us some gas station coffee.
Might have known it wasn't going to be.
Buy one get one free.
I'll spring for it. I'm not that tight. And thank goodness not yet. I'm not that broke. Now, tell us about the Vice President Kamala Harris. How did this come together? And I know you said it was pretty hard for you to remember anything that she said or whatever the case might be.
You weren't supposed to say that over the
I'm
air.
sorry.
But I can give you the gist. So let me tell you. So I am the president of our local chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Right.
I'm the president of the Rutherford County Alumni Chapter here in Murfreesboro. And I was one of the delegates to our convention. We just celebrated our 57th. We convened for our 57th convention in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Right. And that's where the vice president was.
And that is where the vice president came to visit. She was our keynote speaker for our social action luncheon. But let me tell you a little bit about Delta Sigma Theta.
Okay, please.
So Delta Sigma Theta is an organization of predominantly black women.
Right.
We are committed to the education of our members as well as public service, primarily to the black community. We have been in existence for 110 years.
Great, Dad.
And
110 years.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And we have an emphasis on sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action.
Okay.
Our local chapter here in Murfreesboro, when you talk about scholarship, we actually we're giving 3 scholarships to 3 very just great students here within the community. They each will receive $1,500 so that they can kind of prepare for school.
Sure.
We are very vocal when it comes to social action.
Surely not.
That is, and we are very vocal and very, visual
Right.
on all levels. And I tell you, it was really interesting. We were talking earlier. Scott Pio, I think he's out of Virginia, basically said that we were infiltrating the government on all levels.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily call it infiltrating. This is simply what we do.
You're injecting some opinion.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and we do that very well. Now, Kamala was our keynote speaker for our
Right.
social action luncheon. And her and Biden, in my opinion, they've got a really uphill battle.
Sure, even still,
Uh-huh.
things are going good, but that's bound to be constantly an uphill battle.
Absolutely. And, getting the support of Delta has initiated or has well over 300,000 members
Sure.
of our organization.
Sure.
And we carry a lot of weight.
That's a lot of votes.
And it's, and I love the fact that she came. She talked about our sisterhoods. Kamala is a part of the Divine Nine, and you know what the Divine Nine is, right?
No, I'm sorry, I do not.
Okay. Well, that's okay. The Divine Nine basically are all of the Greek letter organizations that are in the Black community. You've got Alpha Kappa Alpha, which is what she is. She's an AKA.
Okay.
You've got the Deltas. You've got Sigma Gamma Rho,
Right.
Zeta Phi Beta. And in the men's section, you
Right.
have Alpha Phi Alpha, Kappa Alpha Psi, Sigma Phi Beta Sigma, and the Omega Psi Phi, and then there is a Theta organization. But we collectively, we are called the Divine Nine.
Divine Nine. Okay.
And the Divine Nine can be very powerful, very influential, and there are those that take issue with it. But Kamala knows exactly what it is that they need
Sure.
in order to they need that support. And
Sure.
Delta has always been very active, very vocal where social action is concerned, and we're going to give her all the support that we possibly can.
Of course. And,
So-
the economy has turned around. A lot of people don't feel it yet.
Right.
Okay. But, now I think they did raise the interest rates just a tad again.
Yes, they did.
People do not understand. And, folks, if you don't understand what's happening, the Fed can raise the rates in order to slow
Economy.
inflation. It slows. There's a purpose for doing it. They're not just raising rates. Well, there goes Biden jacking up my rate. No, that has nothing to do with it. They're trying to stay constantly ahead of the curve, and they've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, and I tell
inflation
you,
has dropped from 9% to 3%.
right, right,
and
right.
that's a staggering number. Go ahead.
But housing continues to be an issue.
It is.
But there's so many things that the government can't control certain aspects of what's going on with
Right.
the economy either. So there's still lots of opportunity out there. So much to be done. So, and I was telling you earlier, I was like, I've kind of tried to block out the media noise because there's so
Yes,
much of it.
I can understand.
And sometimes you just have to take a mental break and so that you can be prepared and fresh for the next battle that's about to be waged.
I have a friend and his wife and good friends of mine that have come to know over the last few years. And they took recently, I think they left on like a Thursday afternoon or whatever it was, maybe even a Friday. And they tell them, we're going to unplug. That's what this whole purpose of this getaway is.
Oh, yeah.
And he said it was one of the most enjoyable weekends they've had since they've been married.
Oh, yeah.
No cell phones, no computers, no television, no news.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you shouldn't watch the news. No newspapers, no magazines, just unplug. You want to get a pole and go fishing and catch you a bluegill? Fine.
Right.
Just like that. And he said it was one of the most enjoyable weekends they've had. Again, since they've been married, probably. It was just great
Oh,
to
yeah.
get away from the noise.
Yeah.
And I understand, you
Yeah.
know. And I laid down and took a nap and turned the TV off one day and get tired of CNN and MSNBC, ABC, CBS, whatever. But, and this mess with Trump is just...
Okay, so before we go there and talk about that,
No, go ahead.
let me tell you one of the other things that the great my great organization did. Now, every convention year, and we have a convention every 2 years. Okay.
Right.
So we have what we call honorary members who are women of great esteem from various roles within the community, and we invite them to join our sorority. So this year we had some real trailblazers. I'm gonna save the one of the best for last. We've got Ambassador Bunny D. Jenkins, Channing Dungy, Rashida Jones. She works for MSNBC.
Right, okay.
Tamika Catchings. I know you know that name.
Know that name. I know the name.
UT Vols.
Okay, right, okay, sure.
And, I want to say she played for Indiana.
That I don't know.
Then there's Miss Deborah Lee from BET.
BET.
Phyllis Newhouse. And the Honorable Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is now a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
She is a piece of work.
Yes.
Yeah, you
yes.
know.
And I mean, we supported her when she was, on the front lines having to defend herself.
Oh, yeah.
And we
yeah.
will be right there behind her, supporting her every step of the way.
Good girl.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, what did the vice president? Was everybody just so amped and wired
You know
up?
what? It was truly a rallying cry,
Right.
and just talking about the few not a lot of conversations about Trump and the Republican Party, but really it was more of a charge to get involved, to don't let up the fight,
Right.
and that kind of thing. And then Joy Reid came right behind her with a very similar rallying cry.
Yeah.
And Joy's a Delta as well.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know
Yes,
Joy
sir.
was. Really? Okay.
And so is April Ryan.
April? Okay.
So we got some good folk on there.
You've got
Soledad
yeah.
O'Brien. I could
Oh,
just
yeah.
go on and on and on.
Yeah. That's packing some punch right there, I'll tell you. Carolyn Cox is my guest tonight, and I'm so glad to have her here. Jackson's on the board. We're going to go to our first series of breaks, folks. Hang with us. You're listening to me, Ed Raymer, Carolyn Cox. Like I said, Jackson's on the board with the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Back with you right after this. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219, or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, we do it all. Low maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawn scut mulching, landscaping. Now you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And we are back with you. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Keep It Running Heat and Air. Thank you. Jay Mullins, Tim, thank you. Complete Yard Care, thank you. We've got a caller, I think, on the line. And Jackson, if you would go ahead. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
How's it doing, Mr. Raymer?
Hey, doing good. Jeff, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I just want to tell Miss Collins, good to hear you on the radio tonight. I just want to say y'all were talking about Trump. Just one quick thing about Trump. He did file a lawsuit against CNN for defamation. Y'all know that?
Okay.
Got to be
But
kidding.
what happened? The judge heard it was a Trump appointee. He threw it out.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
He said he told CNN, he told a big lie. He told Trump that wasn't enough for defamation, so he threw it out.
Really?
He threw it out, and the guy was appointed by Trump. Appointed threw it out. And then a couple of days, just real quick, local. There was a meeting that was last a couple weeks ago about the landfill. The Mount Trash.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And out in Last Cast, there's going to be one tomorrow night in Smyrna.
Yeah, they're having Hooper Peniel sent me something, and I've got it saved on my phone, my email. They're having community meetings over this the landfill thing. Is that right, Jeff?
Yeah, they're having what they're doing is they're having anybody was concerned or anybody,
Right.
I guess,
Yeah.
the smell or whatever you want to call the guy. I guess the guy that runs it for the company over there. They're going to have several meetings. The first one was a couple weeks ago. Like I said, it's out loud. They have one tomorrow night in Smyrna.
One tomorrow night in Smyrna.
I believe it's from 5 to 7. It's in a park somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at, but
Okay.
it's out in the park somewhere in Smyrna somewhere out there, and everything. And of course, our great Mayor Carr says that growth can't pay for itself. So if we don't take care of our business, we'll be 4 years from now.
Right.
Tax increase. Of course, we all know state legislation won't let us do anything. So and everything like that. But
oh yeah.
And then one final thing. The deal with the Pride. I know they had that Pride, but a lot of businesses got no Bud Light and all them. Well, they decided. I read this week they decided to have the local Pride Festival at the end of October. It's going to be at the Miller Coliseum where the MTSU over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
We'll have the end of October. So and everything. And of course, some other stuff. The special session with the guns. And also, I did want to say the mayor's election in Nashville this week. They had about a 15% turnout early voting. And
Right.
the last 3 days, I know the last day they said they had 7,000 people vote early in the mayor's race. Which I don't know what they'll get on election day, but I think that's pretty good for early voting. They said it was one of the highest in a while they've had for early voting.
Well, they've got 73 people running. So
Yeah.
They might have to have kid runoff at the end of the year. They might name somebody. I don't know what.
I didn't know, Jeff, if you might be running down there. I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't live in. I just didn't pay me enough to live in Nashville.
Okay.
Didn't pay me enough to live up there. But no, I just want to give y'all some things. I know y'all couldn't wait to hear about that lawsuit with Trump. So I know that's just on y'all's hot burner news for the week. But no, I enjoy y'all's show. Appreciate it. Have a good week. See y'all.
Jeff, thank you so much. Jeff Neal, good supporter of this broadcast and supporter of WGNS, and we appreciate him so much. Miss Carolyn, you wanted to talk more about Delta.
Yeah, basically, again, what we do is sisterhood, scholarship, service, social action. So yesterday we had a day of service where we personally donated 100 backpacks to First Baptist Church.
Right.
Had this really great drive out at Patterson, and the thing that
For the kids going back to school.
for the kids going back to school,
Yeah.
is that time of year, and so we're able to give that donation. We spent some time there helping to distribute the stuff out. The thing that I enjoyed the most about it, though, because oftentimes you see a backpack drive, and that's exactly what it is. It's just backpacks. But one of the things that First Baptist found was that the kids were not only in need of backpacks, but things like personal hygiene items, socks, underwear, clothing. So it was really nice to be able to see all of these things on display. And the people in the community were able to just come by, pick up what they needed. And move on. And that is such a blessing. And I mean, and these were not little cheesy backpacks. These were some really cute backpacks.
Right.
I mean, for
Something
girls,
the
for
kids
boys.
want. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with all of the supplies that they are needing. So that was truly a blessing. And that's just a part of what Delta does. Another thing that we're doing in September is we're partnering with my foundation that I helped to find. And we are doing a mental health symposium.
Okay.
So that will be at Patterson as well, and it is free to the community to come out.
right.
And again, so many times we get so caught up in all of the other stuff that's going on in the world
That we
and,
forget local.
And while
We
while
forget
all of
local.
that stuff is
Yeah.
important, right now I want to take care of my community, my
Right.
little bubble,
Yeah.
and whatever we can do in order to make that happen is really where the focus is for me right now.
Sounds good. Okay. Anything else?
Shoot,
I wanna
mean,
give you a
could
chance
I
to-
could go on and on and on. I wear about 30,000 hats, so it's
You do. Yes, you do. Ladies and gentlemen, this lady she's known as a worker, believe me. And she's active in a lot of things, NAACP being one of them.
yeah.
We have the dinner coming up in,
the
is
dinner.
it August?
I'm hoping that it's probably going to be closer to either September or October. Don't have all the details on that yet, but as soon as we do, we'll be coming up here
I know
to
you'll be
sell
giving
you
me
a
holler.
ticket.
Of course. Of course.
Absolutely.
And it's always good.
It's always good. And
Good speakers, good food, good fellowship.
Yep.
It's really good.
Now
It
this
is.
year our speaker is Harold Love, and Harold Love out of Memphis. He'll
Right.
be our keynote speaker this year. At least that was the plan the last time I talked.
Sure.
Looking forward to it, and hopefully we are looking to move from the James Union building to the actual student union.
Really?
Yeah, we'll step it up a notch.
You'll
this
step it up
year.
a notch.
Yeah,
Huh.
so
Okay.
definitely looking forward to that, and that is always
Huh.
a great
Okay.
fundraiser to have to help the NAACP with the things that they do in the community as well.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Good deal.
So, and and I started this whole new career path. Super
And
excited
we want
about
to talk
that.
about that, and let's
Yeah.
move on to that now. Now, what
Okay.
are you doing, and tell people what's up, and where they can find you, and all the good stuff.
Absolutely. I am a financial representative for Northwestern Mutual. Basically, Northwestern
Big
Mutual
company.
is a huge company. It's been in existence for well over 140 years.
Yes.
And I absolutely love it because it gives me the autonomy to really create my own financial future, so
Sure.
to speak.
Right. Yeah.
It is a life insurance as well as investment company.
Sure.
We do all types of insurances. And and the thing that I love about this company is that we truly do comprehensive financial planning. We're going to get all up in your business to see exactly where you are,
What you have to do.
exactly what it is that you need, and look at what your goals are, because one of the things that I'm finding is that there are so many folk, and and even when I look at some of my family members that are on Social Security, that check suspiciously looks anywhere from about $1,500 to maybe $2,000-$3,000
Right.
at the most. And now the oftentimes we say the principle of the thing is to, when you retire, you're going to have your house paid off, you're not going to have any debt, all of these wonderful
Yeah.
things. That would be nice.
That's ideal.
That
Yeah,
is
that's the
ideal, but that is typically not what happens.
I know.
And so one of the things that I really try to do is to look at what individuals' goals are. How long do you have before retirement? Where are the assets? And how can we effectively put a plan in place so that you have that financial independence that you're wanting
Sure.
when you're ready to retire? Nobody wants to retire and sit down and, walk the park or something. You
No,
want to,
no.
when you retire, you want to be able to, you really should be able to live. And one of the things that we do is to help you figure out what that is and how we can help you live your very best life, even into retirement.
Sure.
So,
And of course, these youngsters getting life insurance, and you try to tell them that,
yeah.
but now, do they still have? Because when I was in it, the whole life was it was getting to where it was frowned upon, but whole life still has a place.
Man, whole life has a, but here's the thing, and I love this. When you talk about insurances, you've got permanent insurance, which is whole life, and then you've got term insurance, which is
right.
for exactly what it says, a term of a certain number of years.
Right.
Well, when I was young, I was fiscally responsible,
Sure.
and I got term life insurance at 25. I think the first time I even thought about it was when I was having my son.
Sure.
So 25,
Right.
26 years old. I'm married. We need to make sure we've got insurance. We got that term insurance. It was relatively inexpensive.
Sure. Yeah. In your 20s,
And then I got older.
Right.
You start to develop
Thank
different.
goodness, didn't we all?
Yeah,
Right.
got a little.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Got older, more health issues. Wanted to increase what it is that I actually had. Had to have a medical exam. But when you've got thyroid issues, if you have, as you're getting older, you have all of these things that come up,
Sure.
especially
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Black community. High blood
yeah.
pressure, diabetes, obesity
Right.
is one of those things that we don't even really think about, but it
Right.
becomes a factor when you're talking about insurance. And and long story short, my term insurance tripled because
Sure. Yeah.
and it wasn't because I increased it. It tripled because I was like, okay, I need to back this up a little bit because I can't afford what this
Sure.
is. And so, and then I'm like, if I had gotten that whole life policy 20 years ago,
Right.
I would have had some equity, some meat into it
builds-
because
it
it builds
builds
cash
cash
value.
value. Right.
And that's the thing that people have a hard time wrapping their heads around.
Right.
Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit more. I mean, if I'd have put that $150 into my permanent policy when I was 25, things would be looking a lot different
And you still have the same amount of insurance.
and still have the same amount of insurance.
And it sounds so much to go to a 25, 30, 35-year-old person and say, how about a $100,000 life insurance policy? I don't need no $100,000. And of course, you're always going to get, like I used to get, well, I'm covered at work. That's wonderful.
Right.
That's strictly just term.
Yeah, but here's the problem with being covered
Yeah.
at work because, I just left a job.
You just left job and you're going to leave the insurance behind, too.
You left your exactly,
Or
and
if
I
you
mean,
get fired.
right. And I actually, and I had all the bells and whistles with my previous company.
Sure you did. You had a good job, good company.
Exactly, but you don't get to take all that stuff with you.
No, you
You
don't.
know, and our kids these days, they will probably change jobs 4 or 5 times before
Exactly
they're 30.
right. Yeah.
So it's really important that they understand the importance of
Right.
getting insurance, getting it early, and getting enough
Right.
of it so that you're okay. And
Right.
then there's so many other things that you can do with a whole life policy that we just don't talk about.
I know. You don't think about it, but you're 30, 35 when you purchase that $100,000 policy. All of a sudden you wake up and believe me, folks, hopefully you'll be lucky like Carolyn and I have been. You'll wake up and you're 55 years old or 50 or whatever. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 65. I'm way on up there, and say, wow, I wish I could have got that whole life policy for like $40 a month.
Right,
$100,000.
right.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what the rates are now, but. And here's the beauty that I always loved about the life insurance business. You don't set the rates. The company
Right,
sets
the
those.
rates. Yep.
And company to company on a major company like Northwestern, they're going to be pretty well in line with everybody else.
Right.
I mean,
right.
you've always got a company that's got a ebb and a flow. And then you've got your jack people that come in and, that's a waste of money and all that. Okay.
Right.
Don't fall for it, people.
Right,
Please
right.
don't.
Right.
Now, first of all, how can people reach you?
They can reach me either via email,
Okay.
which is carolyn.cox@nm.com, or they can simply give me a call, send me a text, 615-969-5994. I'll be more than happy to sit down and, it is not going to cost anybody anything to have a conversation.
No. Doesn't cost a penny.
It is always good to at least have that conversation, see what your options are,
Right.
and make a plan. And and it's so wild because my son, who's 30 now, he and I
Right.
recently went through some things, and he was really surprised to see exactly where he was, where he knows where he needs to be or where he wants to be.
Sure.
And to be able to put together that plan. And I'm gonna tell you, and if you've got kids or especially grandkids, get that whole life policy for those grandkids. It is not super expensive.
It will be the
And
biggest gift in their life that
the
you could ever
biggest
give them down the
gift
road.
that you could ever give. And trust me,
Right.
my 2-year-old has her whole life policy.
Yeah.
And she will be in really good shape when, if she does nothing else, if we do nothing else but pay that premium,
Just pay the premium.
then
Right.
she's going to be so much better off. And it's all about, not only do you want to take care of your loved ones in the
Right.
event that something happens.
Sure.
I've got a girlfriend, her husband passed. I mean, and he was 45 years old. He wasn't
Happens.
an old guy.
Yes. Not at all.
And things happen. But I was so excited because she's one of my clients, and to be able to make sure she has that check, that she is good, and
Sure.
that she's taken care of. She didn't have to worry about a thing.
Children.
She had kids, yeah,
kids,
and and she's able to take her grandkids on those holidays and
Right.
do all of the
Sure.
things,
Exactly
and not
right.
and the last thing that she's having to stress about is where the money's coming from.
Sure.
And so many times that is usually the problem. When my father passed away, there was a little bit of money there, but my mom struggled. And and I don't
Sure.
and we shouldn't have to be in those positions,
Right.
And there are things that we can do we can put things in place today to make sure that we're good for the long haul.
And I went to a seminar. I used to go to those seminars too because I was in the insurance business and what have you. But an attorney had one out at what used to be, is it still the Doubletree? Mm-hmm. Okay, Doubletree. And I went out there. I said, okay, and it was free.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the ultimate thing is they wanted to do, it was estate planning.
Right.
He said, folks,
Which is really important. But go
very
ahead.
important.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but if you leave here tonight, know one thing, and I've told you this before, believe, and people have heard me say it 100 times here, don't do your estate planning with tears running down your cheeks.
Right.
Do it while everybody's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Do it while everybody's up and around. Do it while everybody's here,
Right.
even though it's hard to talk to your parents about it sometimes, but you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen.
Right.
You can go to Woodfin's or Jennings and Ayers or Scales or any of the funeral, and they'll tell you, I mean, they've been in business a long time.
Yeah.
And they have no plans of going out anytime soon, I don't think, any of them.
Right.
And it's just a fact of life. It's just much part of life as living is.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens. So,
Absolutely.
don't do your estate planning with tears rolling down your cheeks, Okay. Where do you, now, are you in an office now, or do you
I am in an office. Actually,
Where you at?
1639 Medical Center Parkway is where we are, Suite
Okay.
301.
Right.
And the beauty of this thing is that I can always meet you where you are. If you don't want to come to the office, we can meet via Zoom. We can meet at the coffee house. The technology has really changed how
That it has. Right.
we are able to do business, and I absolutely love it. So we have clients that come in. I've got a couple that are coming in on Monday, and we're sitting down and doing some things. I meet a lot of people via Zoom because sometimes people just want to know what their options are. And
Sure.
That's and I love being able to put a face to a name and have
Right.
a conversation with
Yeah.
folk. And like I said, it is GoFundMe is not how you plan for a funeral.
No, it's not. No.
And there are
And-
things that we can put in place today, whether you choose to do term insurance, which is cheaper, or if you choose to, and again, is for a certain amount of time, typically 20, 25, 30 years sometimes. Or you can do a whole life policy, which is good for life. You don't ever have to, you can always adjust it
And
up
the
or down.
premium is level.
And the
That
premium is level.
doesn't change.
Yeah.
And as long as you pay it, it's in effect.
Exactly. Exactly.
And let me ask you something. Do you know the average cost of a funeral now? Is it around $12,000?
It's somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000.
10
It
and
really
12.
depends on what you want to do.
Right.
So and I told my son, I was like, look, because
Okay.
he doesn't want to have these conversations.
The
but-
conversation,
yeah,
yeah, I
but
know,
but
yeah,
my thing
yeah.
is, I want you to cremate me. You can put me in a nice little urn, and then I want you to go ahead and take me to some nice. I really want you to go to Aruba, and
Aruba.
just leave me there.
Yeah.
And then we talked
Right.
about. Then my thing was, now here's what I'd like for you to do next. And we talked about those next steps of what I leave behind and how that needs to help and to benefit him.
Sure.
Because in one of the things that we we did was a will and an estate planning and things of that nature. And there are things that have to be paid. And the one thing that has to be paid is my granddaughter's policy. It will be a paid up policy upon my death.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so that way, again, I want to make sure that my child's child is in good.
It's
in
there.
Good place.
It's paid for. It's taken care of. Grandma took care of that.
Grandma took care.
That's
of that.
right.
Yeah.
It's like this is a totally different thing, but one of the best gifts if you're an outdoor type guy like me and a lot of guys are, and I don't hunt. Don't get me wrong, I don't hunt that much anymore. Our son does. Okay, but one of the best things you can get a kid, even the girls, is a lifetime hunting and fishing license here in the state. You can get it for them when they're born. I mean, it's like, I'm not even going to name, $50 to $100, I'd guess, and I'm just guessing. I stand corrected there, and it's good for life.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
It's that's a one-time premium. We're not talking about what you're doing where you have the premium every month or every year, whatever you do.
Right.
But it's unbelievable. These kids, they're so young. They really, boy, look at us, look me and you looking back. It's a long way down that road.
But you know what? And the funny thing about it, though, is that
Yeah.
that road is not as long as we think it is, especially when we're 25
40
and 30.
used to seem, he's pretty old. He's around 40. Well, really, I'm 65 now, and that's not.
Look,
Yeah.
when I was 18 years old, I would think,
I
gosh,
know.
what is it? What am I going to be doing when I'm 30? And
And
I
the year
couldn't
2000,
fathom 30.
No, I couldn't. Even when I was younger, the year 2000. 2000. Wow, that's we're going to do another century.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's so far away. I didn't even want to think about it. Well, now it's 2023.
Exactly. And not only that, but you know what? It's 2023. I'm a little older than I was way back when, but when I tell you I am continuing to live my best life. It is,
Right.
but at the same time, when you know that you've got more years behind you than you have ahead of you,
That's right.
you really start to think about life in general.
You're right.
And
You're exactly right.
what
Yeah.
contributions have I made? And what are they going to say about me when I'm gone? And I want those to be good, positive things. And I want to make sure that I've done some good while I'm here.
Carol Ann Elmore, Larry Cawthorn, PT left, and Stu Miller. Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to go to our final series of breaks. Carolyn Cox has been good enough to come up and be our guest. Thanks again for agreeing to do this.
You're very welcome.
I'm Ed Raymer with the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. I'll tell you what I want. Now, go ahead. Let's go to the breaks, and I'll read. I'm going to do Keep It Running, Heating and Air when we come back. The Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Be right back right after this. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219, or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, "We do it all." Low-maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawn cut mulching, landscaping. Now, you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352
West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullis Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And we are back. I want to tell you about our newest sponsor here at the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Keep it running, heating and air. And you and your family, if you're looking for a local family-owned heating and cooling company, let me introduce you to Joe at Keep It Running Heating and Cooling Company. And he's got over 12 years experience in this field, and Joe and his company, Keep It Running, located right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They are fully licensed and insured and available for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you with all your heating, you and your family with all your heating and cooling needs. And I'm going to tell you something. We're hitting these hundreds, and Miss Carolyn, we're going to be. It's done happen this week, and they're here to stay. Thank goodness. Look like out west they're losing. Theirs are going down a little bit. Thank goodness. So if you're looking for a company you can trust, excuse me, call Joe today at Keep It Running Heating and Air, 615-962-2397. That's 615-962-2397. And you can visit their website at www.keepitrunning. Sorry, Joe. Melissa, heating and cooling. Keep it running. heatingandcooling.com. And you can catch him on Facebook as well. And he's going to do very well, I'm telling you. Carolyn, these are the people that you're talking about that keep Rutherford County moving. Mm-hmm. People like Melissa and Joe with their company, just starting out in the prime of life. That's what keeps us going, and that's what makes your business right now so exciting. And you have had such an influx of people we have here in Rutherford County over the last 30 years, and they're still coming.
Absolutely. Now, look, I do want to, before we go,
Yes.
because, you've always got a listener
Right.
that helps to keep me informed. So one of your listeners sent me a message to let me know that the NAACP Freedom Fund will be held, and basically it's going to be called the Blue and Gold Freedom Fund Gala. It is actually going to be at the Smyrna Town Center this year in Smyrna, Tennessee.
The Smyrna Town Center?
Smyrna Town Center.
Wow.
And the date is October 28th. And again, the speaker is Representative Harold Love.
Harold Love out of Memphis?
Harold Love out of Nashville.
Nashville. I thought he was out of... I'm sorry, I'm not even in front of my mic.
Nope.
I apologize. Just bear with me, folks. I didn't get my medication today.
Nope. And speaking of Harold Love, he is a representative out of the Nashville area, and he is a proud member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, which is a part of the Divine Nine.
Well, we wouldn't want to go through life without being part of that and the vice president, would we?
That's right.
Now, I was asking you about this during one of the breaks. Security for the vice president, no doubt.
Boy, that was rough.
Because she travels with a huge entourage.
She
as well.
does. She does. She travels. And typically, I tell you, you have to be a part of the organization to see how excited we are when we are trying to. We always have. April Ryan was our speaker a few
I remember
years
the year
ago.
you told me about
yes,
that. April spoke.
That was
right.
wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Getting Vice President Harris into the event center was, let's say short of torture. Literally, it was hard because
imagine.
they made sure that building was secure. They made, if you had a purse or whatever,
all of you ladies had to be.
Everybody
right.
was, and it took a little time, but it was definitely well worth
right.
Being able to go through that in order to get into that facility to hear her speak. And I mean it. And you know, she was when she came to Belmont. That was great.
Sure. Right.
And so any opportunity that I can get to listen to her is always a good thing. And I'm, you know, huge Democrat supporter, and
Sure.
we are gonna just do what we can to take care of our folk.
You know, I told a good friend of mine, I was listening to Janet Yellen. She was the Treasury or Federal Reserve?
Federal Reserve.
Federal Reserve. And we were listening to her. I was listening to her talk. And these ladies, and the guys too, don't get me wrong, they're all, these are intelligent people.
The
and
ladies
you have
are.
to really...
Okay, you know,
okay,
I'm sorry.
whatever.
I had
Poor
to throw
old
that
Joe.
in there.
Your poor old Joe Biden. But, you know, but they are. All these
Yes.
are smart people.
Absolutely.
They're not... This is, we're going to put a tariff on this or that, and here's what we're going to, you know, it's not that way.
Right.
You know, they make it look easy sometimes, but it's not that easy.
Exactly.
There's so many hoops to jump through. And I told a friend of mine, and I think he went back and he said, you know, I watched that I think he watched it on YouTube or saw a replay. I said, you're right. I said, you got to really listen to that lady close to.
Oh, yeah.
To pick up, not that she's saying anything that's sinister, anything like that. It's technical talk for how this economy works.
Right.
And it's not the easiest thing in the world to get right. And many of the men and women that are in administrations, they say if the president is reelected, president and vice president, that second term is murder.
Yeah.
They say it's really, really tough. Because you think, well, now they don't have to worry about being reelected. That's over. That's not the case.
Right.
Because they've got to keep this thing going. And
not only that, but keep it going, and hopefully, because what you want is to be able to have that same party succeed you.
Sure.
You know, so...
Or have Miss Kamala succeed and be our first lady vice president, first lady president. And she is right at the right age. She is right at the right... I mean, she has the right temperament. She's getting the right experience, the right exposure. I think she's pretty sharp, really.
She is. And, you know, we'll see how all that works out.
Yeah. I know that one fella, he got beat by a girl, got beat by Hillary Clinton. I just like to tell him, hey, you lost your first election to a girl.
I tell you.
I shouldn't be that way.
That's okay. We gonna cut you a little slack today, sir.
You know how I am. I don't. He's not going to call here anyway. You know, I wish he would. But you know, so you've had a busy. Are you home for a while now? Are you going to be here?
Yeah. No, well, not exactly.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going in a couple of weeks to take a little time off. But I'll tell you what they look like when I get back. So.
Are you leaving the country?
Yes.
Ah, they caught up with you. The vice president caught up with you.
But look. But yeah, I'm gonna take a little time off and just to relax. I'll miss my granddaughter because I tell you what.
Oh my goodness.
She said that I was missing because I'd been gone for almost 2 weeks.
Oh my
and
goodness.
that she lost me and I was missing. So I'm gonna go missing one more time.
She really has learned how to pull your strings, hasn't
yes,
she?
she has. And
she
you know,
really has.
she's the little girl that I never had.
Sure,
So
sure, because you all have a son. You and your husband had a son.
That's my
and he's
baby.
a fine young man.
He's a fine young man, but this little girl is
nothing like girls.
nothing.
President Obama said that about their daughters. He said, you can't beat girls.
Yeah.
And we have a daughter, and we've been blessed with.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure your granddaughter will go through the stages too. I'm sure she'll go through the dance and all that.
We start dance in August.
In August?
Yes.
This will be her first trip
This
through
will
that.
be her first trip through that, and I'm praying that she enjoys it, because doggone it, they want a grip for that. So-
Oh yeah, I'm telling you. Tell your son and your former husband.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget the roses. Don't forget the flowers, guys. They don't have to be roses, but you gotta bring the flowers when you go to the recital.
Oh
so,
yeah. Oh, well, you know, and she went to her first recital. She was dancing in the aisles. I was like,
oh my goodness,
I cannot wait.
They had a dance with when our daughter was in, and Lauren was 12, 13, 14, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And they pulled it, and of course the father, look, we're not going to do this. We're not taking dance. Our daughters are.
Right.
But they wanted to do us to dance with our daughters.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe there was a dry eye in the place. One of the fathers was down on his knees before we went out on the stage. I said, oh, no, he's going to collapse on me. I don't need this. But it was very well received.
Oh, yeah.
And, we did it to Butterfly Kisses.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And I remember that. It was a very, very touching moment. And you'll always have those memories. And hopefully your son will get to experience some of that.
Oh, whether he wants to or not.
I know. And he won't want to. None of us did. His dad's, oh, no, because let's face it, you get a little misty.
Right,
That's exactly, we're not supposed to do this. This is for them. That's for my daughter, and I stay out of it. Well, it won't hurt you one time, and but we had a great time.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you all will as well.
Uh-huh.
Now, your husband has bought her first Cadillac, and she's only 3.
Yes.
So you had to top him, so you went out and bought her a Range Rover?
No, you know what? I actually bought her a little scooter, but it's been so hot.
Me.
It's too hot to do anything outside right now. So
I've told me some of the water temperatures, even in the Atlantic or Pacific or even in the Gulf of Mexico, it's so hot you can't even enjoy the.
Well, we enjoyed the Y today, so.
Oh, you went to the Y.
Yes, she absolutely loves water. So, and one of the, we're trying to all the things with her to figure out what it is that she really enjoys. And because different children have different tastes, and they'll grow into or out of different things, things they enjoy. And right now, the water is her best friend.
Right.
So, and we're doing this dance thing because it's got us stunts and tumbling. And I need her to stunt and tumble on something other than me.
Believe me, folks, every time I call this lady on a weekend, which I need to quit doing, but when I call Carolyn, how's the granddaughter doing? She's still doing good. She's doing great.
There's something that she's not getting, and usually it's my attention when I'm on the phone talking to someone.
Oh yes, I know that. I know that from past experience. Carolyn Cox has been our guest tonight. Thank you so much. We're going to get out of here in just a few seconds because Mr. Murfreesboro, Bill Wilson, has a very special guest, Mr. Joe Dubin. He's going to be in the booth with Chip Walters at MTSU, and this is a great thing. And I know Bill's going to have a fine show for you. So we're going to get out of their way, me and Carolyn are, and get them in here and get set up. But I'll tell you what, till next Sunday night, 8 o'clock, this is Ed Raymer. I'll catch you down the road. Good night, everybody.